And here I am. It's too bad I look so much better. For your sake.
Welcome to 10 Minutes Today. I'm Jake, and that's Matej.
Mm-hmm.
Who
better looking one?
now?
Me?
Yeah.
Ooh, the video's on an angle. I like it.
We come to you every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday
Yes.
with a brand new topic of discussion for your amusement. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, comment, share it with your friends.
Please. We're going to talk about the child deaths,
Okay.
sadly. Number 3.
Sorry.
Number 3 on the reasons children die in the U.S. is gun-related deaths. So that's a problem. 3. I haven't looked at what else is on the list. I'm assuming it's diseases. So
I'll look it up while you
I did, but I
explain.
couldn't find it. Either way. So there did. So the Medical Journal of Pediatrics did a 3-year study, and they noted that per year, roughly 6,000 U.S. children receive treatment for gun-related injuries, with over 1,000 fatalities. 1,000. These flies, man, they just flew in my eye. So of those 1,000 fatalities,
Holy fuck.
50% are homicides.
Holy fuck.
What?
Yeah, just keep going. Sorry.
50% are homicides, 38% are suicides, and only less than 10% are accidental. And boys and minorities are disproportionately affected by this. And there's another study that also shows that only 30% of Americans legally own guns, but 70% of Americans say they have fired a gun.
So the top 3 causes of death in children, and this is 1 to 4. So under 1, gun-related deaths unintentional injury is there, and that can include guns at number 5. But children 1 to 4, homicide is number 3. Number 2 is animalities, illness, disease. Number 1 is unintentional injury. So
as of
number
2015.
1 and 3 can include guns.
Yeah.
So this study just
Is the
delves a
most
little
recent.
deeper.
Yeah, this is
well,
the
no,
most-
this is
2015. That's 2
this
years
is CDC, but that just delves deeper into it. This just has listed unintentional injury,
general.
so it can be like you
yeah.
fell
I see.
or
Okay.
whatever.
Anyways,
That's crazy.
one of the top 3, the third one, is gun. Do you think there's a gun problem in the U.S.?
We've been over this before, and I want to do a longer episode. I think.
Sure.
I actually want to do like a 1-hour sit down. I think on why the U.S. has a gun problem
Sure.
and what the rest of the world has to do about it, because they're not going to change anything anytime soon. We need to start setting an example and being like, look, this is what you need to do, because
It's far too easy to get a gun there.
It's not
way
just-
too easy. And I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of gun enthusiasts, and I know you're becoming one. I don't think there should be access to semi-automatic weapons. That's ridiculous. You don't need that. Sure, it's fun, okay, but like, at what point is it like people in their regular day probably shouldn't have one of these
so
because they can cause so much damage in so little time?
semi-automatic weapons, fully automatic weapons, no doubt in my mind, you shouldn't have access to. And there are certain fully automatic guns that in the United States you can legally own, far more than any other
absurd.
modern country that exists today. Semi-automatic, I think I like the approach that like Canada's taken with it.
Okay, which is?
So certain semi-automatic guns are allowed, but they have to be a minimum, a minimum size, or you need they're part of the restricted license. There's a whole series of things, but
So
the
you can't just
number
walk
one
into the
rule-
grocery store and get one.
Well, you can. You can buy them. Well, not the grocery store. It's not. We don't live in Texas, but we can go to Canadian Tire, Bass Pro, and buy guns.
Yeah.
You can go and hold them, even if whatever. You can hold them. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
But I really like our law that the actual clips have to be clipped. They have to be limited, so you can only put so many bullets in each clip.
Okay.
And that helps
fair.
a lot.
That's fair.
But I think the biggest problem with the U.S. isn't the fact that there are guns. It's
Well,
the
that's
fact that they're not
definitely part of it.
controlled. Because here, to get your gun license, there's a whole course and a test, and you have to have them in a safe. You cannot keep them in your house loaded. Like, those are the things. In the U.S., if you want
And
a
they have to be in
shotgun...
separate safes, right? The ammunition and the gun, or no?
Depends.
I think so.
It depends on the type of gun, and it
okay.
depends on the type of safe.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's very
Is it like separate
complicated.
compartments at least?
Not
Like,
necessarily.
they can't just be in the same drawer.
Not necessarily. When you're
Really?
carrying it, like
Yeah.
when you're like you have your gun case to go to the range or to go hunting, you can't have your ammo like beside your gun that I'm aware of. Maybe you can. I don't think you can. But the point is, in the U.S., the reason this is number 3 is simply because you can leave a loaded gun in your house. A 1, 2, 3, or 4-year-old, they are few and far between who actually know how to properly load a gun. And to be honest, those 4-year-olds are not the ones that are shooting themselves.
But they don't even need safes in the U.S. do they?
No, and that's what I mean.
So you have those older
It's
kids, because
sitting
this
on
is up
your-
to 17, right? So you have those older kids
Yeah.
that are like getting involved in gangs and shit like that. They just go to their dad's
Well,
drawer.
that's
and
different. If your
grab a
kid's
gun.
involved in a gang, you don't leave a handgun sitting around. Or
maybe you
you're
don't know.
involved in a gang anyways, or whatever.
Fair.
You're in that world. But the problem is that we could have a shotgun sitting in the corner right there. I can. And your kids come over, and we don't give a fuck because everyone has shotguns.
Yeah.
And your kid's like, cool, a gun, and picks it up and shoots one of their friends.
Yeah.
And that's how it happens. It's because they are so accessible. They are not controlled at all.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Well, I was watching this one thing. It was John Oliver, and he was having an interview with some guy. I forget who he was in the U.S. about guns, who was like super pro guns. And John Oliver was trying to tell him, like, you have so many guns, so accessible. He's like, and obviously, the more guns you have, the more like deaths related to guns you're gonna have.
Yeah.
It's just like basic like common sense.
Yeah.
And the guy was disputing him, and then he goes, you know what? Like, well, houses with pools have more drownings. And John Oliver's like, you're proving my point. Like, that's literally what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's so easy to get a gun. It's ridiculous. Like, look at that Orlando shooting that was not too long ago, where the guy just walked
That
into
was
the gay bar
last year.
and just like, was it a year ago now?
Yeah, the 1-year anniversary was a couple
Holy
weeks ago.
cow! But yeah, he just walked. He
Pulse
literally,
nightclub or
He
whatever.
he literally bought a gun,
Pulse?
and then like that same day or like the day after, just went to a nightclub and shot it up. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Should not be that accessible. Like, there should be extensive background checks. You have to like applications, like how we do it here, right? There's guns in Canada for sure, but there's a lot. It's a lot more regulated in ways to prevent problems like this from happening.
And spoiler alert, a later topic this week will be the travel ban. Or maybe we'll do it before because it's hot news right now, so maybe we'll release that episode tomorrow.
Yeah,
Either
fair.
way, at some point, we will have or will be going to talk about the changes to the travel ban. And I think instead of a travel ban, improve your fucking gun laws.
Yeah.
You have people coming into your country from Saudi Arabia who can still get in, who are literally terrorists, who are literally here to fucking kill everyone they can. And they can go down to the fucking gas station and buy...
Do you have to be an American citizen to buy a gun in the
No.
US? Come on.
You don't need to prove anything. You don't need a license.
Ooh, I
In
forgot
some places
Yeah,
you do.
sure.
But like if we're talking about the majority of the United States, we can cross the border. And as long as you don't cross in Detroit and go to a gas station or go to a gun shop and buy something.
That's ridiculous.
And you don't need ID, nothing. There's nothing like that. Because that would be the government tracking you. Which is what they're so afraid of. That's why they don't have a gun registry. That's why they
They don't even have a gun registry?
No,
I thought it was just like super lax.
No, because the idea
Oh.
is that the
That's even worse.
well, the idea is it's the First or Second Amendment.
Second Amendment.
Okay, I
Right
can't
to
believe I
bear
forgot
arms.
that. The Second
Maybe
Amendment
they're talking
is
about like bear arms.
no.
you know?
The idea of the Second Amendment is to arm the society against the government, and if the government knows where all the guns are, then it defeats the purpose of arming
Well,
yourself.
I was actually talking to somebody really quickly before we finish up who has a lot of knowledge on this subject, and they were saying that the verbiage in the Constitution, I think, where that is.
The Second Amendment. It's an amendment to the Constitution. Yeah.
In that they were actually saying that the militia has a right to bear arms.
Yes, it's a private militia.
So
it's a citizen militia.
Not necessarily.
That's the way some people view it, but that's
that's
a very left wing view.
Apparently, that's how it is.
And that's all the time we have for today. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, hit the music.